Oh, hey there. So somebody today asked me, how did I come to become a Christian? And so I'm going to tell you that story. Now, I want to start by saying this. Um, if you like to read, I wrote a book about this and it's called A Wretch Like Me. Okay, it's on Amazon Kindle and Audible, and you can get it. It's not very much. I think it's $10 if you buy the paperback, and it's less if you get Kindle and all that stuff. Nevertheless, I'll tell you the story. My guess is it's probably going to be several videos, so just look for part one, two, three, however many it is. When I was born, let's rewind a little bit. My grandfather was a foreign ambassador, and and he actually just died a few weeks ago. But he went around the world and he traveled and he spoke seven languages fluently. And so then my mom was born in Rome, Italy, and I just got back from there recently a few weeks ago. And she speaks five languages fluently, and they'll both be very humble and say, "Oh, I don't speak it that well," that they do. So it was kind of ingrained in us to move around a lot. I was conceived in India, and then I was born out in Washington State, um, out in the wilderness with a midwife. And when I was born, my parents were hippies, and so my name was Son Elk Shepherd Surefoot, and that was my name until I was adopted in the fourth grade. Um, I lived on several hippie communes. The first time that I smoked weed, I was 3 years old. I was surrounded by a bunch of sex and drugs and music and things from a very young age, like from before birth. My real dad, his name was Sky, and he died 2.5 years ago. But he was a homeless hippie like my entire life, and so I didn't. He was really good at hide and seek. When I was three, he said hide your eyes, and I didn't see him again until I was 27. So he was really good at that. Um, we moved around quite a bit. I lived in 22 states. I went to 22 schools. I got bullied quite a bit when I was young. I was smart, and I used to read dictionaries and encyclopedias and things like that. And then I realized people do not like people that are smarter than them, better looking than them, richer than them, or anything else that makes them look stupid. And so I quickly realized that if I didn't want to get made fun of as much, then playing dumb was probably smarter for me. And so I got pretty good at playing dumb, even though things were interesting to me. I'd be like, "Ooh, I want to know that." I'd be like, "I want to know that quietly," and I'm going to go act dumb around everybody else. Um, my mom's third husband was a Marine, and he had studied to be a Catholic priest, and he adopted me and my younger brother and sister, and was pretty strict. Then him and my mom had another son, my youngest brother Chris, and and him and I did not get along. Okay, in retrospect, it's probably as much my fault as it was his fault, and we did reconcile and forgive each other and get past all that, which I'm grateful for. But at the time, I felt like he was impossible to please, and no matter what I did, it was not good enough. And when I was about 13 or so, I started getting into heavy metal music and growing my hair out. And I had grown my hair out when I was younger. You know, I had long hair when I was a kid, but um, at 13, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this on my own as my own decision. And he kept accusing me of doing drugs. And I was like, but I'm not. And then eventually I was like, if I'm getting accused of it, I might as well do it. And I got straight A's all the way up until that point. And then he told me quite a few times that if I ever did drugs, that I would never be able to get a job. I would get disowned by my family. My life would basically be over. Um, there was no hope for me, and I kind of believed him, I guess, to some degree. And so I finally ended up at a party at somebody's house, and I was in a bathroom with a bunch of people, and then they brought out weed, and they're all like, "John, never smoked weed before." I'm like, "Shut up, I have to." And they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll do it." And I was like, "Okay, fine." And then once I did, I was like, "I guess my life is over," because they do lie detectors at jobs, and like I'll never be able to get a job or have anything, good, my family will abandon me and what have you. And so I just threw my whole life away. I just like, have you ever, um, accidentally thrown something away and then later on you're like, I really needed that. I did that, but like with my life. And so, because I had made that decision, then I believed that that meant that, it was all over for me. I was basically a fugitive on the run for the rest of my life. And so something switched inside of me. I was just like, I guess if I'm going to go down like that, then I'm going to get high till I die. And so I did every drug I could get my hands on. I just abandoned everything that I had loved before that. And I was like, okay, this is what I am now. And I did a lot of drugs. I got in a lot of trouble at school. I I got in so much trouble. I they would give me choices for a while. I got a lot of D Hall, and then they gave me choices. They said, "Do you want to get on campus suspension or do you want to get SWATs?" And I'm like, "SWATs is over right away." And this is back when they used to spank you in school, and so there's always some coach with like a paddle that he drilled holes in to make it hurt worse or whatever, and he'd swat me, and I just like, all right. I guess I'm going back to class. It's over now. But then after a while, I was getting swats so much. I was like, I think I'll take the on-campus suspension. And then I would go get in a fight. And I got in a lot of fights. Okay, I got in a lot of fights. I was the new kid a lot, and so I was bullied a lot. And then eventually, I became the bully. And then I would get to new school and just be like, "Who's the biggest guy here? Let's just get this over with. Like me and you right now. Let's just fight." And because they were like, "You're not that big, but why are you doing this? Like that kid must be crazy." And I would just go off on him. I'd be like, "I don't care if you punch me, I don't care if you hurt me, like I will hurt you back and I will publicly humiliate you. You do not scare me." And they're like, this guy. Um, and so I got in a lot of trouble, and they gave me an entire semester of on-campus suspension. And they were finally like, "You can't even be with general population people. You have your own room." And then I ruined that room, and it wasn't good. Um, so I was doing a lot of drugs, and I just did not care. I didn't care at all. I was smoking a half ounce of weed a day. I was doing a lot of meth. I was doing like I would stay up for weeks at a time. I wouldn't eat or sleep. We were stealing stuff every night. Um, I was doing a lot of acid. I was doing cocaine, like literally anything I could get my hands on. I was doing it. So I'm going to pause here. We're going to go to part two. So come back in a second. All right. Find this